Happy Friday. So today we are going to talk about the difference between auto harness wire and ASRW and how you should process it or what equipment you need. So a lot of people ask us about equipment to do this or this here, and the assumption is that what works for one will work for the other, and it is true, they will work, but is it the right application or is it the right equipment for the application? So what we do here is auto harness wire. We're gonna get right into the meat and potatoes of this. Auto harness wire is what you would find at the salvage yard. So you bring your car to the salvage yard, they pull out the battery, pull out the catalytic converter, pull out the wire. This wire is much cleaner than it is down here. So ASRW comes from ASR, which is auto shredding residue. So once they shred that car, sometimes, or most of the time, there's still some wire left inside that car. And oftentimes it's just left in there altogether. So this wire ends up getting shredded, auto shredder residue, and the residue after they pull out the aluminum and the steel and the other stuff. And then this ASR goes through a process that turns it into auto shredder residue wire. So they have automated sensor sorters and picking machines. Sometimes they have pickers, actual people picking, and they will turn it into this. This is much less copper recovery and much dirtier than this. There is stainless steel mixed in with this. Oftentimes the sensor sorters don't always do a really good job of getting this as clean as you would want it to be. I have seen some that's very clean, but not always. So what we do with this here is different than what we do this. With this here, 100%, I would go with the vertical mill with this for this application. Vertical mill, some kind of impact mill, something that's gonna handle the stainless steel and not just break apart. So this means you're gonna do less pounds per hour, and if you want more information, go check out our other video that explains the vertical mill versus granulator. This is one of those examples where we would use the vertical mill for this and the granulator for this. Why would we use a granulator for this? Number one, more pounds per hour. Number two, what we're gonna get here is cleaner copper. And the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna go through the shredder, then through the granulator, and then because it hasn't gone through a turbo mill or a impact mill, those strands are still gonna be pretty long and skinny and straight, and that is gonna go through the screen. So when you run this over a screener, those little slivers are gonna go through the screen and the little flakes of brass are gonna stay on top. So whatever falls through that screen is almost number one copper. It's pretty close to being bare bright. A lot of times people will call it trace, tin trace, or number two trace, but it's really, really close to being bare bright. Some people probably even sell it as bare bright because there's that little contaminants in doing it that way. So down here for the ASR, and we've ran auto shredder residue, and it's there's like 3 to 5% depending on how good your system is. I don't think I've seen 2%, but I'm sure if you guys know of someone that's actually getting 1% or less in this, let me know. But we have run this, and it's normally about 3% copper and then another 2% aluminum. It's probably not really worth running this in this conventional system, but then this is a concentrated out of this. So out of this here, they concentrate into this, and then this has a lot more value. And then actually, oftentimes after they do this, this is when you would have that 3% or so is after they pull out the wire. So there's still a little bit left over. Some places still keep everything together, and then obviously your copper recovery is a lot higher in this than it usually would be. So the reason here that stainless steel that's in here that still gets through is going to damage a granulator. You're going to be changing blades, rotors, you're going to be hurting your granulator if you go with this material into the granulator. So that's why we have two ways of doing it, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're going to be doing auto harness wire and only auto harness wire, granulator is definitely the way to go. If you're going to be doing this and then you know that you have some customers who are going to be sending you some of this, then you might want to go with the vertical mill that could handle both, or go with the hybrid. We've had a customer where they've done both. They did granulator and vertical mill, and we had the option of diverting it, going into one or the other. So that's also an option, but obviously more expensive. And who wants to do that? So anyways, hope this video is helpful. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Happy Friday.